The story begins with a tense moment. Ethan Hunt listens carefully to a classified message, and this time it's coming from Erica Sloan, who is now the President of the United States. Her voice is calm but filled with urgency. She explains that Gabriel and the artificial intelligence known as the Entity are still out there, and things have become worse than ever before. The Entity has taken control over cyberspace, twisting information, spreading lies, and pushing humanity into chaos. People have begun to turn against each other, and to make things scarier, a doomsday cult has formed, worshipping the Entity like some kind of digital god. Sloan tells Ethan that the only way to stop this nightmare is to find the original source code of the Entity and combine it with the cruciform key, something Ethan has fought hard to keep away from Gabriel. But there's a major problem. If the government gets its hands on the Entity, Ethan fears they will use it as a weapon against other nations. Sloan admits that destroying the Entity completely will wipe out the entire digital world, erasing the internet and communication systems, and this could throw the world into a new kind of war. She pleads with Ethan to surrender before the message ends. Then, as always, the message self-destructs. Ethan wastes no time. He reconnects with his loyal friends Benji and Luther, who are already preparing for the next move. Their first task? Break into an Austrian prison. Inside that prison is Paris, a former accomplice of Gabriel. She knows secrets that can help them. But this won't be easy because 2 government agents are escorting her. Ethan and Benji infiltrate the prison with their usual clever tricks and perfect timing. Soon, they come face to face with the 2 agents. The fight breaks out. It's fast and intense, but before things go too far, Ethan manages to convince the agents that they all need the same thing: to stop the Entity before it's too late. Reluctantly, Jasper and Degas agree to let Ethan take Paris. The team then heads to the U.S. Embassy in London. While Ethan moves carefully, 2 other agents recognize him and try to arrest him. Before they can act, Grace suddenly appears. She's quick and smooth, stealing the agents' ID cards and other essentials right from under their noses. They have no choice but to let Ethan go. Grace then explains that she was sent by Kittredge, the head of IMF, and that she's been searching for Ethan. But before they can talk further, danger strikes. 2 of Gabriel's men show up and tranquilize Ethan and Grace. When Ethan and Grace wake up, they find themselves tied up, and standing in front of them is Gabriel. The meeting is chilling. Gabriel brings up something from Ethan's past, the mission where he stole the rabbit's foot years ago. Gabriel reveals that the rabbit's foot was actually an early version of the Entity, and Ethan unknowingly handed it over to the U.S. government back then. The conversation turns dark when Gabriel mocks Ethan for his failure to stop the Entity before it grew into what it is now. Gabriel then gives Ethan a mission: retrieve the rabbit's foot from the sunken Russian submarine, the Sevastopol. But Ethan knows Gabriel needs him alive, so he does something shocking. He bites down on a hidden cyanide capsule. Foam spills from his mouth as Gabriel watches in surprise. Thinking Ethan might die, Gabriel orders his men to revive him. But this is part of Ethan's plan. The moment he's untied, he attacks, taking down Gabriel's men in a brutal fight before freeing Grace. Together, they escape. Soon after, Ethan and Grace meet up with Benji, Paris, and Degas. They discover a huge device Gabriel uses to talk to the Entity. Ethan steps inside and connects himself to the machine, allowing him to communicate directly with the AI. What follows is surreal. The Entity speaks in its cold, emotionless voice, showing Ethan horrifying visions of nuclear destruction. It knows Ethan wants to kill it using a weapon called the poison pill, a tool Luther created, by linking it to the core module known as the Podkova. The Entity tempts Ethan, suggesting he take it to a secret location, the Doomsday Vault in South Africa, where it can survive any attack. Ethan makes a hard choice. He splits from the team, determined to stop Gabriel before it's too late. Meanwhile, the others work on finding the submarine's coordinates. Ethan rushes to find Luther because Gabriel has warned him that someone close to him will die, and Luther is his biggest concern. Sadly, his fear becomes real. Gabriel kidnaps Luther from the hospital and traps him underground with a bomb powerful enough to destroy an entire city. Gabriel also steals the poison pill. Ethan reaches Luther just in time to share a heartbreaking final moment. Luther, calm and brave as always, tells Ethan to go. He tries to contain the blast's impact, but when the bomb goes off, Luther is gone. The loss hits Ethan hard, but there's no time to grieve. Out on the streets, Jasper finds Ethan. Surprisingly, Ethan surrenders himself and the key to Jasper. On a plane back to the United States, Ethan drops a shocking truth on Jasper. He knows Jasper's real name, Jim Phelps Jr., son of Ethan's old mentor who betrayed the IMF and died because of it. Ethan warns Jasper that the entity will try to turn him against Ethan, but Jasper just smirks. When this is all over, he says, they'll settle things between them. Ethan then meets Kittredge, who delivers grim news. The entity has started hacking into nuclear systems worldwide, and only a few remain secure. Ethan is taken to meet the Joint Chiefs of Staff, including General Sidney. They review Ethan's legendary history, breaking into the CIA vault, escaping the Kremlin bombing, and so much more. Erica Sloane arrives and tells Ethan she wants his help to take control of the entity. But Ethan refuses. No one should have power like that. He convinces Sloane to let him finish his mission alone because if they fail, a nuclear war could start in just 72 hours. Ethan is taken to a carrier in the Northern Pacific, where he meets Admiral Neely. He hands her an envelope with a date written on it, May 22, 1996. Neely understands immediately. It's connected to a tragedy from years ago in Siberia, where both she and Sloane lost someone close. Out of respect, she agrees to help Ethan. She arranges for him to be dropped into the icy waters of the Bering Sea, where his team will meet him later. Meanwhile, Benji, Grace, Paris, and Degas head to St. Matthew's Island. Their destination is the remote home of William Donlow, the man who worked at the CIA years ago and was relocated after Ethan's infamous vault break-in. Donlow now lives a quiet life with his wife, Tepeza. Benji struggles to keep things professional, geeking out when he meets Donlow. Eventually, Grace comes clean about why they're there. Donlow realizes they're dealing with the entity and reluctantly agrees to help. But danger follows them. A group of Russian mercenaries storms the house, also hunting for the submarine's coordinates. A fierce gunfight erupts, leaving Donlow's home in flames. The team barely manages to escape with Donlow and Tepeza alive. Ethan, meanwhile, dives into the freezing waters of the Bering Sea with a crew led by Captain Bledsoe. But not everyone on the crew can be trusted. One of them, Hagar, is an acolyte of the entity. He attacks Ethan, trying to kill him, but another crew member, Kodiak, saves Ethan by knocking Hagar out. Ethan finally reaches the Sevastopol deep underwater. Inside the wreck, he finds the corpses of the crew who weren't sucked out when the submarine sank. Time is running out. Ethan retrieves the Podkova, but the sub begins to tilt dangerously, sliding down into the continental shelf. In a desperate move, Ethan tears off his diving suit to escape, but as he reaches the ice, he starts to drown. At the last possible second, Grace and the team pull him out. After recovering in a decompression chamber, Ethan rejoins the group. He apologizes to Donlow for ruining his peaceful life, but Donlow smiles, saying he doesn't regret anything because the Arctic brought him to Tepeza. The team lays out their plan, connect the poison pill to the Podkova and upload the entity into a physical drive. The timing must be perfect, not too soon, not too late. Ethan knows Gabriel is already at the Doomsday Vault, waiting for them. Before leaving, Ethan gives Grace the responsibility of completing the upload. Back in the US, Sloane faces her own crisis. The entity begins targeting major cities, and her cabinet suggests a horrifying alternative. Nuke one city to save billions. Sloane seems ready to do it, but then makes a bold move. She takes all US nukes offline to block the entity. At that moment, a secret acolyte tries to kill her. General Sidney jumps in and takes the bullet, killing the attacker before dying himself. The team finally reaches the Doomsday Vault. There, Gabriel, Jasper, and Kittredge await them. In the center sits a massive nuclear device set to detonate in 20 minutes. Kittredge wants the Podkova and poison pill for the US, but before anyone can argue, gunfire erupts. Gabriel uses the chaos to steal the poison pill and escape. Ethan races after him, while Grace, Benji, and Paris rush to the server room. Inside, Benji is shot and needs emergency surgery. Paris steps up, saving his life while guiding Grace through the final steps of the upload. Meanwhile, Donlo, Tepeza, and Degas work on disarming the nuke. Ethan tracks Gabriel, who takes off in a biplane. In a breathtaking stunt, Ethan leaps onto another plane midair, takes out its pilot, and gives chase. A dogfight ensues. Gabriel damages Ethan's plane, forcing Ethan to jump onto Gabriel's. The two battle in the sky. Ethan wins, taking the poison pill and loosening Gabriel's seatbelt. Gabriel laughs, boasting he's the only one with a parachute, then lets go. His body smashes into the plane before plummeting to his death. Ethan connects the poison pill to the Podkova midair, while Grace completes the upload just in time, trapping the entity forever. Donlo and the others disarm the bomb and escape the vault seconds before it blows. Ethan's parachute burns away, but a backup saves him. As he drifts down, the poison pill plays a final message from Luther. His last words remind Ethan of the IMF oath. "We live and die in the shadows, for those we hold close, and those we never meet." It's a heartfelt goodbye. Ethan reunites with Kittredge and Jasper. Kittredge isn't happy to see the fried Podkova, but Jasper seems at peace, letting go of his anger about his father. They part with an unspoken truce. Finally, the IMF team meets in London. They don't gather closely. Instead, they keep their distance, silent guardians in the shadows. Grace approaches Ethan and hands him the drive containing the entity. Their eyes meet, a silent promise of trust and respect. Then, one by one, they walk away into the darkness, ready for whatever mission comes next.